Sitting up here muted. Hello, guys. Happy witching hour. I didn't realize I was muted. I thought I would come and talk to you guys for just a few moments while I clear off my bed. And this is a topic that I think a lot of people struggle with, and I don't exactly know why. I want to talk to you guys about when it is perfectly fine for you to get death magic, send death wishes, and wish death upon your enemies. When is that a time? When is it definitely okay to do that? Because it ain't nothing wrong with it, okay? Um, Crazy people who are obviously very mentally ill, especially narcissistic people, they will try to gaslight you and try to make you feel bad when you wish them to their grave. Okay? I'm here to tell you to not listen to that shit. Okay? But there's certain instances where it is perfectly fine for you to wish death on your enemies. And you know what? I've seen it in more cases than not. Actually, it's very necessary. Even though a lot of your enemies will not die physically, they will die in other ways prior to that. Okay. And I see people all the time, and I've actually experienced this, who are kind of mentally ill and are obviously and have been diagnosed schizophrenics. Okay. And schizophrenic people have extreme um, paranoia and delusions. And I've actually experienced that before from schizophrenics, especially if they're schizophrenic and they're on the spectrum of narcissism. Okay. So they will try to make you feel bad for defending yourself. But I've seen people that where they have accused or thought that someone was trying to harm them and they weren't. But if you have 100% proof, and it's not just about the person's actions, okay? Sometimes your adversaries will do things that can cause you death, right? That can cause you destruction. Like, for example, trying to make you lose your job. Those are things that could potentially lead to homelessness. Those are things that could potentially lead to starvation. So that is a death threat. However, you are perfectly fine to wish death. In fact, it will provide you protection. Hey, Jen. Hey, girl. Hey. I saw your beautiful pictures over there. Yes, it is, sis. Yes, it is. Death wishes, however it is that you do it, I'm telling you, it is definitely necessary, especially these days with so many people that are, they're just very mentally ill, and they're crazy. People are crazy. And, crazy people can still send negative energy. Just because somebody's mentally ill doesn't mean that they can't send you negative energy, right? These are definitely the cases. If an enemy directly threatens you, but especially if they are threatening your children, Ooh, oh my God. They have a death wish or trying to cause harm to your child. Can you imagine? See, this is the reason why gossip and slander is something that is highly frowned upon, because a person's entire future and their health and their lives could be at risk because somebody has decided to tell egregious lies on you. Okay. So that is another reason. If somebody is saying something about you that could literally destroy your entire life, lead you into a life of squalor, of poverty, of struggle, that is a reason. And then especially if somebody okay, first of all, it's energy. Like we all know, just recently, I was getting on an adversary of mine about his daughter. I had pointed out some stuff about her, and but at the same time I sent her blessings and extended an olive branch to her. I don't hurt people's children. I don't do stuff like that. So, so I'm good with that. Okay. And even though he would probably like to think differently, but I'm talking about people that are a direct threat to the well-being of your child. Like, for example, people that are filing false CPS reports against you. Okay. I'm not speaking to whether or not CPS is good or bad. I'm not saying that those people are bad, but I'm saying that we all know the reports and, how, uh, you know, the lines can get blurred. But then also, if someone is filing false CPS reports and some kind of mistake is made, or because I've actually seen enemies do this also, get hired at companies like that so that they can stalk and harass people. And let's say some kind of mistake is made or an error is made, and your child is removed from your home. Let's say something awful happens to them while they're removed from the home, or if nothing happens to them. If nothing, that's why I can't imagine being that stupid. You'd have to be a very irresponsible, mentally ill person to do that. I would not even ever play around with anybody's babies like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Jen. I know how protective you are over your babies and your animals, okay? And so yeah, don't ain't nobody playing it about their loved ones and your husband too. Um let's say something like that happens and your child is removed from the home, but nothing happens to the child and the child is returned and everything's okay. Even the fact that your child was ever removed from your home and you went through as a mother, I don't even imagine. I don't want to say I can't imagine. I don't imagine what that would send a parent through. That is awful, horrible for you to ever separate a mother from a child, especially if they are a young child, but at any age that is creating trauma that is so stressful. Literally, I could, I think that if something like that would actually happen, at that moment that that's happening, you could potentially have a heart attack or a stroke, literally, because that's horrible. Okay. No parent ever wants their just like, oh, okay, so you're taking my child to some complete strangers. And okay. So in that case, even if somebody is calling and filing false reports against you, you have the right to do death magic. If you're getting ready to get married, okay, and you're in love, right? And you getting ready to marry somebody that's a good man. And he is just everything. You know what I'm saying? He's a provider, he's everything that you want. And your adversary starts spreading lies and rumors to try to ruin the relationship and his perception of you. Actually, there's a Wikipedia article out there right now, how to break somebody up, how to destroy their relationship. You can look it up. And if someone is now, being that, I mean, I'm probably talking to a lot of practitioners out there, right? And some of you probably do breakup magic for people. So, that's very different, especially if you are vetted and you have the authority to do that. Believe it or not, there are a lot of practitioners that do have the authority to do breakup work, especially if it depends on the circumstances and the situation that's going on. Okay. But just to be evil, to do breakup magic, and to kind of like lead a person to like this ruin is really bad, especially if it's a couple, if it's real love and you create struggle within that relationship, someone causing struggle within a relationship that the gods have brought together, or God has brought together, that could potentially lead to an adversarial death, because these people that are running around here mentally ill, they don't, and I'm not talking about people who don't take relationships, because there's a lot of people, they like, I ain't trying to be in no relationship, I'm happy, I'm single. I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about people that they just love to destroy good things that they see. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read you a message. Somebody tried that years ago, lied, told my fiance at the time he slept with me to break us up. He ended up crashing into a tree. Yeah, in a wheelchair to this day. I swear on everything. I believe you. I believe you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, a person that does something like that, but especially like what if a person is just literally randomly, right? Like you ain't even done nothing to the person. And hey, Stefan, and they are trying to harm your children, your family, anybody that you love, if they're trying to harm you, or your husband or your boyfriend, if they're trying to do harm, you have the right to do death magic on that person. Yeah, that sounds like he was a horrible person. Yeah. And Jen, I already know. I already know how you get down, sis. I'm sure that you did some did you do some work? That would be interesting for you to tell that story. That would be really interesting for you to like break down all the details and stuff too. Cause I know you did one of them you be using lemons and apples and so ooh. Them apples, boy, don't be messing around with somebody doing that apple magic, because apples are very, wow. I know that's right, because you know what? People don't appreciate love. Okay. And you can tell that you and your husband are really in love and y'all have a good life together. Okay. So you just wished him back. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, that, to me, that's divine justice. I'm sorry. It is. It is, because why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, nobody wants to imagine that they are without the one that they love. Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody, like I've seen, like I follow you on Instagram, and just the whole, just y'all are such a cute couple. Like I'm so happy that everything worked. Yeah. Really? Oh man. Did you just a question, did you have to like do any work on your fiance, or was he able to? Because I swear to you, you know, men can be very toxic towards each other. So I'm wondering if you had to like do anything to, or was you able to just like send all that energy back to him, and because I can tell you that, oh my goodness, it, that saying, it's better to have loved and lost than if never to have loved at all. That's bullshit, because losing somebody. Did he? Oh my god. So your fiance got depressed. Oh my goodness. So wait a minute, I'm getting confused. So at the time that your husband okay, so your fiance at the time had gotten depressed and you had to leave him, or are you talking about the other dude? But a result of that conversation, he got depressed. Oh, wow. What did you end up doing to fix that? I wonder. Like, you don't have to go into detail, but just what did you end up having to do? Because that's so horrible. And you must have done something, because you guys are good now. That's terrible. You know, it's not to say that women just have to have a man, but this world is really harsh. And then also, who wants to be lonely? Oh, this was a different guy. Okay, so it was a different guy then. Oh my God. So he was able to, oh my goodness. Well, okay. So now I get it. Now I get it. Dang. That's crazy. Oh, okay. So this was years ago when you was 26. Yeah. Oh man. Well, now, now you're, happily married or whatever, but yeah, like, people really need to. And so it's funny how a lot of times people will always talk about witchcraft, but divine justice does not have to just come through witchcraft. It can just come from divinity. It can just come out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, so at the time you wasn't practicing really. You just gave them the evil eye. Well, everything happens for a reason, because you're with somebody else now. But have you heard from that guy since then, Jen? That's crazy. You know what I've been thinking about a lot? Destiny entanglement. And how I think that sometimes it happens randomly, but a lot of times it's happening intentionally. Okay. So, like, for example, what I was talking about the other night about that married couple. The woman was like, I guess the husband was chasing the wife in his vehicle, and she was in her car, he was in his, and they was like on a high speed chase, and the wife sped by in her car, but then when the husband sped by, the husband literally hit and struck and killed a, a innocent woman that was just like an innocent bystander, and killed her with his vehicle. A mother of four, just recently. Well, that's good that he's doing better. That's good. I'm glad he's doing better. That's, boy. And you know what? That guy that did that, he must have really had already some stuff coming for him too. For him to be able to cause the other guy to become depressed. Goodness gracious. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, Stefan, like, y'all had to be careful and protect your destiny, because that's kind of one of those Freaky Friday types of things, to where like somebody else's bad destiny either intentionally can collide with yours. And I'm just like, it's really creepy. So, like, trust me, I've sat here and done work in Latin to make sure that other people's bad destiny, because I'm telling you, like, people ripping and running up and down the street, shooting guns and stray bullets, and nah, that's just, I don't want that to happen to me or my loved ones. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, that's crazy for him to let him get to him like that. Like, hopefully he's grown up and he's changed a lot, because duh, newsflash, people will do things like that. People will do things like that. And I've heard of actually practitioners that are trying to do breakup work on people, like doing extra stuff, like contacting the person. And no, you can't do that. If you're going to have that come through the divine, you can't do extra stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, well, people got to be careful with that. Okay, because nobody has the right to just sit up here and follow somebody around and try to destroy love for them. Like, that's awful. That's awful. If somebody is trying to destroy your life and they will not stop, like I'm talking about, they're trying to curse you, hex you, sending all this stuff to you, obsessed with you, all of that stuff, like, you have every right to say, okay, this is ridiculous. It has no justification, because like I said, sometimes doing some breakup work is justified, okay? But a person following you around your entire life, trying to make you miserable, trying to hurt you, you have every right to call death against that person. You do. And people can argue about that, but they have no case. Now, I'm not saying that you have the right to go and murder somebody, but you have the right to ask for the gods or your spirits or ancestors to smite that person. Oh, he may have went to a witch for breakup work. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. If he did, you can goodness gracious. If he did, you can tell that she didn't protect him very well, because, or he, or whoever he went to, for him to end up paralyzed. Goodness gracious. Wow. That's crazy. And he ended up paralyzed, and the dude, the like you went on to get married, and the dude went on to get married to somebody else and had a family. So, and he's the one that's paralyzed. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So justice was served straight up and down. You have every right, though. You have every right, because who is anybody else to try to deny you of your happiness and your fulfillment in life? Nobody has the right to do that. Nobody has the right to just ruin your life. Nobody. Nobody has the right to attack your children. Nobody, and especially if somebody's doing death magic, if somebody curses your children, you have every right to not only do a reversal, but also to ask for that person to be taken off of this earth. And they may not necessarily die, but something else is going to happen to that person. What, his name is Jimmy Pike. Wow. Dang, he's a vegetable? Dang. That's crazy. Wow. But yeah, I mean, especially somebody messing with your baby, somebody messing. Even somebody that's purposely messing with your animals, your dog, your job, you do not have the right. Nobody has the right to just attack. And then, especially if they are unjustified. Okay. Now, if you're doing something to that person, but the punishment has to fit the crime. Okay. If you're doing something to that person, but that, I've actually seen and experienced people that just are hateful, filled with hate, filled with visceral, filled with just malignancy, malevolency. And, they're just like, I want to ruin your life. I want to ruin your kids' lives. I want to destroy you. I want to hurt you. I want to hurt your parents. I want to hurt your family. I want to hurt you. You have every right to wish death on that person, especially if you said, hey, leave me alone. I don't want this interaction with you. You go your way, I go mine. I have not taken anything from you. I'm not going to let you take anything from me. Goodbye. And that person just continues to keep going. I know that's right, Miss Magical Leo, especially Apollo. I don't know if you work with Apollo. It's kind of cold in here. I don't know if you work with Apollo, but I know that's right. Yeah, man. I'm telling you. It's the truth. People that are, and that's why I was saying, I have a show scheduled about gang stalkers that I have not done yet. Oh my God. Be careful not even to gang stalk anybody, even if it's just for like one or two times. So you do work with Apollo? That's what's up. Even if it's just for one or two times, don't engage or participate in gang stalking. Gang stalkers are some of the most cursed individuals in the world, and they are cursing their bloodline, gang stalking people. Okay, you know who Apollo is? I know that's right, sis. You know what I'm saying? Gang stalkers are some of the worst off people. They are, because gang stalkers have an intention to literally just tear the target down. And that's what they're working at. They're working at tearing the target down. Gang stalkers are at risk of death on a daily basis. Literally, gang stalkers are in a terrible position. Don't ever, 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 ever. When this whole internet thing, what the heck? When this whole internet thing got popular, and I began to get gang stalked, I sat down and I had to talk with all of my children. I said, hey, listen, I said, I want to talk to y'all about gang stalking. Do not ever get involved in any type of gang stalking activities, because nothing good is going to come to those people. Gang stalking is one of the most cruelest things that you can ever, that a person can ever do. It's horrible. It is. It is absolutely terrible. One of the most corrupt things that is happening in this world. Okay. And I sat down and I talked to my kids. I said, hey, I said, don't even let nobody. And you know what? Also, when my kids were in school, I would tell them, don't ever get involved in bullying activities at all. Ever. And they didn't. They never got involved in bullying people. Or well, of course not gang stalking, So, gang stalkers literally, they are screwed. Gang stalkers are screwed, especially being that it's kind of difficult to get judicial justice on that for some reason. And that's a one-way ticket to hell. That's a one-way ticket to death, is being a gang stalker. That it just, no, it's not cool whatsoever. So, but I personally, for me, I feel like I feel like it's survival of the fittest. I feel like, hey, I take my life, I take my loved ones' lives, I take our lives into consideration, the people that I care about. It's not my job to care about somebody that is trying to do us harm. So I don't have to have empathy, sympathy, or understand those people. I don't. That is the job of a therapist. And it's got to be a therapist that is seeing those people. That is a therapist's job, to feel sorry for mentally ill people who are doing harm. My job is to protect us. That's it. What else is there to do? So you have a divine right to protect your family, your loved ones, and yourself. Don't ever forget that, because I think that sometimes they'll even try to make you feel like you have an obligation for them to abuse you or for them to do harm to you. And I've actually seen them kind of take possession of people before. I've seen them do it. And I'm like, wow, that person ain't nothing like me. And I don't have an issue with it. Like, if you are somebody that is being gang stalked or something, or being harmed, you may be a person where your stomach may get all upset and everything. And I don't get like that. Like, I literally, like, I will, for me, I have no problem, no empathy, no sympathy when it comes to defending myself. I am very antisocial when it comes to defending myself. I don't give a damn when it comes to defending my family. I am just like my daddy Aries, because Aries is my daddy. Okay. That he is, yeah. And he is unrelenting. He does not care. You look at the story of Aries, there was a story told about him that he basically, I think, what did he kill Zeus's son, one of Zeus's sons, for trying to grape his daughter, murdered him. And he said, Aries said, I don't care. I was defending my no, I think it was his sister. It was either his sister or his daughter. They tried to admonish Aries for it, the god of Mars, and he was like, I have the right to defend the women in my family. So, and that's why Aries is one of the most hated of the zodiac, because he does not harm women. Okay. He don't play that. He don't play those kind of games. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Now it's too hot. Okay. So, anywho, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I'm telling you, it right now, and then especially right now in the world that we're dealing with right now, we're dealing with literal spiritual zombies. And let's say that there was like a Wizard of Oz that was controlling a bunch of people, like 10 people that are not family members, that are not close to you, and those 10 people are being controlled by this Wizard of Oz. So those 10 zombified people can go to Hades, as far as I'm fucking concerned, because it is your responsibility to go out into this world and not become possessed. I personally am the type of person to where I could not become possessed and do anything like that. Like, I'm not going to become a zombie or whatever. So nobody ever has to worry about me, doing stuff like that, because I take responsibility for me. I take responsibility for my children. I take responsibility for all of my loved ones. So I ain't, I don't worry about any of that. You are a person that's running around here lost and possessed, and you done got zombified, and you doing all this evil and stuff. You can catch these spiritual hands. I don't care about your life. The only life that I care about is myself and the people that I am protecting. Otherwise, your life is nothing to me. That's how I feel about it. And what else am I supposed to do? Are we supposed to sit up here and ever come to a point where, like, you got people that are literally sitting there minding their own business? Literally, they're not thinking about having a war with anybody. That's one of the reasons why Aries is so protective. People think that the god Aries is just like this troublemaker, and he's not. You know what I'm saying? He recognizes that, when a person is just kind of like, okay, I'm just trying to do my own thing. I ain't bothering nobody. And then all of a sudden, these people are just starting all this shit with you. I am on the side of the person that is being attacked. I'm not going to be on the side of this group of people who are trying to use a collective energy against this one person. I'm just, no, no. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I agree. Yep. Yep. So I don't know what to tell people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that there should be precautions that you should take, though. I don't think that you should just be going around, just doing coffin spells on people. I think that, I can easily say that because I have a very airtight demonic protection from death. You know what I'm saying? For me and my loved ones, like, and it's very devastating, right? It is. It's not even no joke. So I think that taking precautions, especially if you can see clearly that you're in a situation that could potentially lead to a lot of trauma. Don't put other people's lives, don't put the aggressor's life before your own, right? You can't love them more than you love yourself. You have to love yourself, and there is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. It's, especially if you're a person that has said, hey, leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with you. And they just keep coming at you and keep coming towards you and keep coming towards you. And I have seen people go to various practitioners, pay a bunch of practitioners to attack one person, and that person has died. Because why would you do that? That's like literally overkill. Why are you doing it to that person? Nothing in this world is worth that, especially when this person literally has done nothing to you. And yeah, even if the person has not done anything to a person, people can still go to practitioners and still be cursed. That's what's crazy about this world, is that the innocent can be made to suffer if you accept it. If that's what you accept, you don't have to accept that. You see what I'm saying? So, and because in some cases it's either going to be you or those people. You can't go into depression and give up on life because of these people bullying you, or these, even spiritual, gang stalking is typically not necessarily overt like that. It can be covert. Okay. Now, if it's a situation where you're like dealing with family and you may have family problems or whatever, and that situation is going to be handled totally different. Okay. Seek guidance on that. But if it's these people that are just, in a network of gang stalkers, or either they're just, just one person that just continuously just coming after you every day, stalking you, calling you, harassing you, spreading rumors, you have every right to defend yourself, because think about it, slander and gossip and lies has ruined a lot of people's lives, and you have to take that seriously. If a person is telling a very egregious lie on you, and depending on the severity of that lie that they are speaking on your name, that person might be trying to get you killed. That person might be trying to just ruin your life. And so imagine you're an innocent person and somebody has lied on you, and you can't go out in the world and get a job. You can't go out in the world and make it. People are looking at you funny. You're being stigmatized and you ain't did nothing to nobody. So it ain't just about wishing death on that person. Honestly, it's not. You have to cleanse yourself of that stuff. You have to literally, like, if you got that kind of situation going on, you have to seek expert guidance on that, because that can be horrible. Trust me, I've been through it, and I've never suffered anybody coming to me like saying, "Oh, I know about this" or whatever. I've never had anybody do that. But what I have experienced is like feeling this extremely negative energy coming at me that was not mine. It was not my energy. It was not my karma. It was not something that should have ever been meant for me, but it was being thrown at me unfairly and unjustly. And it felt really horrible. Like, it just felt like, oh my God, I'm in danger. I'm in danger. See what I'm saying? So yeah, you have to be careful. And yeah, there is a difference between the good guys and the bad guys. There literally is no blurred line. We know who the aggressors are versus the person that needs to be protected. Nobody's playing around like that. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Now, gang stalkers will try to blur the line. They try to blur the line by doing what? Lying. Not gonna work. Not don't and you know what? If it's a continuous thing, but I would say honestly, immediately. Immediately when someone starts telling egregious lies on you, immediately the way you shut it down is with the energies of death. And if that person keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, then they can get that. Because what that person will do is they will literally destroy an innocent person. And let's face it, we hear stories about people destroying innocent people all the time, just literally just bullying them and just being pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? And those people will just go on to somebody else and do the same thing to somebody else. So you don't just have a right, but you have a responsibility. Wait a minute, you have a responsibility to handle that situation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I just wanted to come and give y'all that encouragement, because I've actually had people that I've had people come to me and get consultations, right? And so they'll tell me all of this horrible stuff that has happened to them, and they will tell me like things that, their enemies have done to them, and they'll be like, now if it's family, that's understandable, but it'll be like this person, they'll be like, well, I don't really want any harm to come to that person. And I'm like, are you kidding me? After everything you said that person did to you, you don't want no harm to come to them. Oh yeah, you right. Yeah. People and understand that, especially when it comes to spiritual warfare, that's a common tactic for them to put passivity on you. They want you to be passive, and they want you to lay down and take it. They want you to be a doormat. Don't ever be a doormat for anybody. If somebody's doing something to hurt you, you have to be able to fight back. And I want to tell y'all something about gang stalking, especially when it's social media gang stalking. The solution is not to not respond to them. That doesn't work. In fact, that makes it worse. In fact, that makes them work harder to get your attention. Even though we don't want to respond, we can spend our time doing something that we enjoy doing. Why, nobody wants to sit up there and deal with that. And so it's not like it's anybody's getting a kick out of it, but it's just, sometimes you have to, because typically with gang stalking comes the smear campaigns. So, you know, um, but anyway, love yourself, take care of yourself and your loved ones, put them first. Always put them first. Do not be no punk. Do not let somebody convince you, especially because I know that there are some people, especially empaths. Empaths are very intimidated by groups of people. They don't even like going out in public where there's like a lot of people. They don't like doing that. So I'm more of a dark empath. Okay, because I am an empath, but I'm a dark empath. So when I have to go into fight mode, if I'm in war mode, I'm in war mode, right? But some people that are being gang stalked are really, really, really intimidated by that. Actually, I've had people come to me and say, I'm being gang stalked. What should I do? Should I join them? I'm like, no, joining them equals death. So you're damned if you do that. I would not. I would keep a straight and arrow path. Do not, because they know that they're on a one-way ticket to Hades. They know it, and they want to drag as many people down with them as possible. Don't let them do it. Keep yourself clear and clean as possible. You know what I'm saying? Do your cleanses, do all of that stuff. But, if somebody means you harm, if somebody means you harm and death and destruction, and, you know, asking your gods to smite them doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't. You are not a bad person. You are somebody that wants to survive. And I suspect that we kind of going through a zombie apocalypse right now. Okay. So anyway, guys. Anyway, to all my peeps, love you guys. Have a wonderful day. I will see y'all later. Okay. All right. Hug and kiss your babies for me. I'll see y'all soon. Bye bye.